What's up, everybody? This is the Intelliplex training for the new 2247. Just want to go over this real quickly so everybody's familiar with it in case you end up driving to the hospital one day or on a different shift at house 4 and you end up in the ambulance or riding backwards. So this is what it is right here. There's one in front and one in back. Basically do all the same things except for the emergency master stuff is obviously only controlled through up here. First thing to know, we'll just start up here, is for the back to be working, the mod disconnect has to be on. You'll see those lights on automatically. To go over, this is the home screen that you'll see as you get in. Obviously the patient status, there's nothing going on here, but if in the back they wanted to give us a patient status, they can change that. It'll give you a series of 5 beeps and you'll know that something different is going on with your patient. This also tells you up here what screen that you're in. It'll also show you what your warnings are. I will tell you that when I put the truck in drive, as you see down here, it's showing 0 psi in the tank because the O2 tank is closed. That is going to set off a warning because you have low O2. We typically drive around with the tank closed so that it doesn't leak. So just so you know, if you get in and you get that warning, you have to press this button and that will turn that warning off. That warning button will turn off that warning and others except for the seatbelt warning. And I'll show you that in a minute. As we go around, you'll see that the inverter is right here and then it's off. That's going to be its natural position. If you want the inverter, which basically controls the power to things like the cell phone and computer and iPad and things like that back there, if you want that while you're actually rolling, you'll have to turn it on in order for it to work. Otherwise, while it's on the shoreline, it'll charge on its own. Obviously, the backup alarm cutoff is self-explanatory. We can also control the heat AC options from up here by pressing this. This is just for what's in back. We control the front up here on a regular dial as we always do. But if we're going to a call and we want to cool it off back there, I just turn the cool on and I turn up the fan speed. You can see the outside temperature, inside temperature, and what I have it set at. So right now the fan is going back there and cooling that compartment off. So back to the home screen, it shows that that's being run. Obviously your RPMs are here, voltage amp, same thing as you would see in the regular ambulance that you guys are used to. Now the important thing is we're getting ready to run a call. What do you need to do? Well, you need to turn your emergency master on if you want your lights to work. Press emergency master and you will see a series of lights that are available for you. While we're in park, the default is to secondary. So as I'm in park, only the secondary lights will be on. If I'm in park and I want to stay where I'm at and have all my lights on, then I just need to change that to primary, and this indicates that all of those are on. In secondary, however, this is what it's going to look like. But since I have the emergency master on, as soon as I go to drive, all those are going to come on automatically. If while I'm driving I want to turn off certain lights, which I don't know why you would, but if you did, then you could turn those off from here. Okay, just like you would do with a regular toggle switch. I go back to park, it defaults back to the secondary. So that's pretty much what you need to know as far as emergency master as it pertains to driving with lights on. Some other things that from the home screen that basically takes care of it. The emergency master we went over, emergency. As we go over here, you can see exterior lighting. We control all the floodlights and the fog lights and the ground lights can all be controlled from right there. Interior lighting. So in the back we can see that we can control the lighting back there over the cot, over the dome. Obviously who's ever in back there probably going to be controlling them, but if you're coming back from the hospital and they're on, you want to turn them off, you can do that from here. Above us right now we can turn lights on that are either white or red for our own lighting depending on the time of day or whatever we want, or turn those off here. This is really important. Don't go into apps. All right, that's a programming thing and we really just don't need to mess with it. Don't touch apps. If we go to options, we have a couple of different options. If you want to know what's going on behind you and you're not in reverse, then you can just hit options and you can look at the rear camera and show you what's going on behind you. If you want to see what's going on in the patient compartment, you're going to press options, interior camera, and you get a view of what's going on back there. So we're always going to leave our load demand on. Some other things to note that are just kind of auxiliary stuff. You can change the color of this or you can turn it off. You can make it brighter or dimmer, whatever we want to do. This is backlit here. You can make it soft or kind of higher light depending on what you're doing. So that is the big stuff specifically about the Intelliplex. You see this blue button over here? That's actually just an on button if the truck is off. If you want to turn the Intelliplex on, you're just going to press that button and you press it twice to turn it off. There's a spotlight overhead that we're going to use. We have a remote for. You just press power and you can control the spotlight and the speed at which it moves. Q siren obviously located here and siren brake here. There's an air horn right here that the passenger can control. You also have one here on your steering wheel. The high idle works just like it does on the other international trucks. You got to turn it on, set cruise, and then resume accelerate. We'll bump that up so that you can be running in high idle if it's going to be sitting on a call for a little while. The sirens are controlled down here, and just like the normal. Something to note up here, you'll see a light up. These are going to be where your seat belts are. It will tell you if somebody's sitting in a seat. Chief Eckel and I both have our seat belts on, so it shows green, but if I take mine off, it's going to throw a warning sign and be red. Okay, as soon as I plug in, it's going to go there. And don't try plugging it in behind you, because it actually is smart enough to know that it's not on you. And the same thing goes in back. If somebody were sitting in one of these seats in back, you would have a red light if they didn't have their seatbelt on. So it's important that if you're in back and you're seated, that you have your seatbelt on, if at all possible. And then up here we have our lights that control the back lighting. Okay, I simply turn that on if I want it to be to the left, this way, center, right, and then flashing. All these are dead switches. You don't need to do anything with those. So that's pretty much the long and short of the Intelliplex, and a brief on some of the differences between this truck and the other ambulances. If you have any questions, call your EMS captain. Thanks.